Roll the intro. There's no intro? I thought I could have sworn I made an intro at some point. No? Maybe. Maybe not.
I don't got no intro.
Bet you didn't think you'd see me this soon. I sure know I didn't think so either. Why can't you just do anything right? If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I posted this video. Okay, roll to the video. Now.
Animating systems. Be free. Feel something new. Make reality your own. Find peace. Enter the simulation.
If you don't already follow me on Instagram, let me have a word with you. Please follow me. But anyway, we're here, we've seen the clip, so let's see how to do it. So let's jump right into After Effects. I know.
Let us playground.
Crashes more times than the pig in the wheelchair. That doesn't make sense. So here's our clip. Wow, cool. So I've actually already speed ramped this in Final Cut, and if you want to use and follow along with this clip, it's linked in the description below. Oh yeah, there it is. What up, Link? I'm gonna kill you later. Oh. First thing we're gonna do is track that camera. So we're gonna go to animation, track camera. Now we just drink some tea.
Step bro.
Now we have all these delicious little gumdrops to choose from, but don't be licking your screen now. It'll just taste like dirt. All right, so we're gonna wanna pick one of these points closest to the person in frame. I'm gonna go to create solid in camera. Now, after all that work, we're just gonna delete that solid, because who needs that in our life, right? But now we're gonna recreate the solid. I know, this makes perfect sense. Right click, new, solid. Make sure all that says this, good. Now we're gonna get kinky with it and use a little plugin. That's disgusting. Now this plugin is from Red Giant and it's called Trapcode Particular. Try saying that 10 times fast. Can't even say that one time fast. God tootin' darn it, God tootin' darn it. Try saying that 5 times fast. Red Giant Trapcode Particular, Red Giant Trapcode Particular, Red Giant Trapcode Particular. Anyway, we're gonna use this plugin. However, press on those brakes there, Jimmy John Jenkins Jr. III. This plugin costs some money. You can get a free trial of it and do exactly what we're gonna do here, all for free. But if you just can't go along without having the real thing, there are a few sites out on the internet where you can get things for free. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and open up our perfectly legal copy of Red Giant's Trapcode Particular 14.1.4.3 verification code 691555432. Make sure that your solid is selected, go up to effect, go down to RG Trapcode, and we're gonna do form. So if you're following along with this exact clip, just follow exactly what I do for these next settings. And if you're using your own footage for this effect, these settings that I'm telling you might vary a bit from this clip to your clip, but this is a good starting point. Let's start off by renaming this layer, Layer 1 Rocks. So when we go to our effects panel, we're gonna go over to base form. We're gonna unlock these to be XYZ individual. And for size X, we're gonna put in 3280. For Y, 2080, and for Z we're going to do 1780. So what we did there is basically expand the space in between each particle. Now we're going to say how many particles we want in each of those planes. So for X we're going to put 20, for Y we're going to do 35, and for Z we're going to do 4. Now let's go ahead and arrange the position of them. So for this first one we're going to do 797 and 1469. Nice. Finish it off with a 133. It's tracking pretty well to the scene. You can see kind of like those micro jitters and it looks a little bit off, but we're gonna fix that in a bit. All right, let's go ahead and edit our particles now. So for this, we're gonna change this to a sprite colorize.
Perfect time for hot Dr. Pepper.
We're gonna choose our sprite.
Try hot Dr. Pepper.
We're gonna go with Rock Tumble 3. We're gonna bump that size up to 18, and we're gonna do the size random to 100. We're gonna go down to disperse and twist. We're gonna put that at 343. And that'll kind of make all the rocks, well, I mean, like you saw what it did. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut that solid there. Now the particles won't appear until that frame. So let's go ahead and fix that jittery shakiness that we got going on here. And the way we're gonna do that is go to our 3D camera tracker, go down to camera options and input these values. For zoom, we're gonna bring that to 296. We're gonna turn depth of field on. And for our focus distance, 532. For our aperture, we're gonna put 81. As you can see, that kind of helps place our rocks in the scene a little bit better. Again, depending on your clip, all these values could shift drastically. Basically, just making the rocks fit in the scene the best you can by adjusting all the values that we went through. But the most important part when it comes to fitting these rocks into the scene is lighting. Lighting. So let's add a light to our scene. Right click, new, light. We're gonna make a point light for this. And as you can see, there's our light in the scene. We're gonna go down to transform, to the position, and we're gonna input these values. So for this, we have 1310. For this, we're at a solid 100, negative 1839. But when we turn that light on and off, you're probably wondering, oh, there's nothing happening there, silly goose. Well, you're the silly goose because you don't really know what's going on in the next step now, do you? Let's go back to our rocks layer, and under shading, we're gonna go ahead and turn that bad boy on. Just made the rocks black. Silly goose, have you not learned anything? Shh, let's continue on this path, brother. Guess what we're gonna do next? What are we gonna do next, Orion? How the freak did you get in here? And shut up, your voice is annoying. We're gonna input some numbers.
I'm not seeing enough movement.
Let's input some more random numbers. For nominal distance, we're gonna do 100. For ambient, 386. And for diffuse, we're gonna crank that sucker all the way up to 1000. Go ahead and right click, we're gonna do a new light. This one, it's gonna be ambient. And we're gonna hit OK.
Okay.
And just slide that dude down. Oh my gosh, it looks like there's rocks in the scene. What the? You remember in the beginning, we choose sprite colorize, which means that we could select the color of our sprite. I'm too lazy to find something funny about sprite to put here. And once you pick, no, I'm not.
Dr. Pepper.
And once you pick a color, it might go darker or lighter than intended. So this means that we'll have to go back to our ambient setting and either crank that up or down. All right, cool. So I've picked that color and I've adjusted my ambience again, and I'm digging something like this. You're like, Orion, she goes like this and the rocks come up in the ground and then it's like, whoa. And then you're like, what, shut the... We're gonna go over to our base form and go to our position tab. We're gonna bring down the Y axis. And as you can see, that's bringing all our rocks down. Click that keyframe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames ahead. Bring that back up to our original value. I'm also gonna adjust the space in Y. So we'll bring this back down to like 15, hit this keyframe, go tilt it all the way up, and bring that back up to 35. All right, so now we're gonna hit this down arrow, go to effects, form. You can see our keyframes here for base form. We're gonna select our position, hit our keyframe editor, right click, go to edit speed graph, hit this, bring that down, bring that over like that. And what this is gonna do is give a nice, smooth stop to the rocks. Now we're gonna go to particles and Y. And for this, we're just gonna go ahead and do easy ease. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and play with these keyframes and the distance between them until I'm happy with the motion that I'm getting with those rocks coming up. All right, and I'm happy with something like that. Awesome, so that rock layer is done.
I know you're done.
Now we're gonna go ahead and add our foreground rocks. And this is what's really gonna help sell the effect. So just like before, we're gonna go ahead and create a new solid layer, Trapcode, form. So our background rocks are nice and small, and we have a lot of variation in size with them, but I really want some big kahunas in there. So for this layer, again, we're unlocking the XYZ, X 840, our Y 310, 3, 3, and 11. For our position, I did 709, 2385, and 30. The size, let's make that 56. And our size random, 50, 51, 54, whatever. Now we already have the lights in the scene, so this layer is gonna be affected by the lights as well. Our lighting values are 820 for nominal distance. Our ambient is at 290. Our diffuse is at 799. This all depends on your scene and your lighting when you shot, so adjust these values till it looks good to you. And now we're gonna go ahead and add some disperse to this, and I'll go with 510. But now let's go ahead and add that same animation of the rocks coming up. And for that, we're doing the same thing that we did before by just keyframing that position, adding easy ease, adjusting the speed curve. Cool. Now that still looks kind of out of place, but if we add motion blur, that's gonna make all the difference. Make sure motion blur is selected for our whole project.
Thank you.
This is gonna make your computer run like a dookie. So make sure this is our last step. Next, all I did was just track in some dust elements for where she stomps and where the rocks come up. And then I pre-comped the whole thing And with this pre-comp, I added a little zoom in and camera jitter. Go to transform, we'll go to scale, position, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll crank these puppies up. Keeping her right in the center. And we'll add some easy in and easy out. And then I know right when she hits her foot, I want it to zoom back out. So I'll make another keyframe for both of these. Easy ease on these. We're gonna go ahead and go to our anchor point, and right where her foot hits, we'll add a keyframe. We'll go 3 frames, and we'll make that anchor point violently shift. And then come back slowly to center. All right, sweet. And once we do that, it's looking something like this. Now we're just gonna go back inside this pre-comp and make sure that our motion blur is turned on. While back in this pre-comp, I also replaced the sky. I did this by tracking an object in the background, keying out the blue sky that was already there, replacing it with a still image of a sky, and parenting that image to a null that had the tracking data on it. And now our final After Effects comp is looking something like this. So to really polish this thing off, we're gonna go back into trusty old Final Cut. So to help sell that effect of the camera zooming in, let's go to blur, or Gaussian blur. We're gonna bring that down to 0, and I think right when the camera kind of pops into the zoom, like right there, go over to the keyframe, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, bump that up to 8 or 9, then go 2 frames and bring it back down to 0. I then went and added some zoom in blur to that same area, and to top it all off, I added a little bit of earthquake shake. So there you go, with a little bit of sound design, a little bit of color, it's looking something like this. I never know how to end these things. Come back next time when we put a phone inside a teacup and drink it for dinner. Oh, hello? FBI? FBI!
Hehehehe